Welcome back to Primetime as we continue our discussion with Ben Moses, former WIS employee, and you've been up to a lot of amazing things. But let's talk a little bit about this Ukrainian documentary. What can you tell us about this?
15 years ago, we made a documentary around the world on dictators and activists. And one of the countries we studied among 5 was Ukraine, because we wanted to know how the country was doing after the fall of the Soviet Union. And we discovered that they were very pro-democracy and working really hard to get rid of all the corruption and the oppression from Moscow and everything. And I just kind of fell in love with the people and their sincere desire to be a Western democracy. And then about 5 years after that, I found myself in Kiev, about preparing to do something else entirely. And my friend met me at the airport and said, come to the Maidan, the center city, bring your camera, and you've come to a revolution. And I said, I'm going to get back on the plane. Thank you very much. I'll go home. He said, no, you're not. Come with me. And he took me to the center of the revolution, which was very peaceful and beautiful, and people with families with children on their shoulders singing. And they said, we're going to get rid of this corrupt president, because he really was corrupt. And he was taking bribes from everybody, everywhere. I don't know if you ever saw the pictures of his incredible home with, anyway. And I said, you guys are crazy. You're not going to get rid of a president by singing songs. And they said, wait. And it took, unfortunately, 3 or 4 months and losing 100 lives. But they did. He fled in the middle of the night. And then they started to create the democracy they'd wanted for a long time. And it wasn't, 3 weeks before, Russia started moving into Crimea and some of the eastern areas, trying to take at least a foothold in this new democracy. And I made a film about that, about my experience, called Witness to a Revolution, a 90-minute documentary. And then I stayed in touch with everybody, and I started going over doing things called postcards from Ukraine about the people in parts of the country. I met a pilot who owned an aviation company in Ukraine, and he helped me get my Ukrainian pilot's license, and we flew all over the country. And I just fell in love with the country. I really did. And the spirit of the people, there's a great deal of brotherly love in that country that you don't see in a lot of other countries. And but they were always aware that Putin and that's the best topsoil in the world. And Hitler took a lot of it when he invaded back in the 40s. He took carloads of their topsoil back to Germany, and it's the best growing area in the world. And Putin has always wanted it, and the Russians have always wanted it, because they don't have a lot of great topsoil,
We have a little clip from that documentary that you were talking about, and I want you to tell us about this interviewer after, but let's go ahead and play that before we come back.
Okay, cool.
Many people still addressed Ukraine as the Ukraine. So like, oh, you're from the Ukraine. Ah, okay, so it's a part of Russia, right? No, no, it's not a part of Russia. I think I was very naive before the full-scale invasion. I actually thought that Russians were normal people. I knew they were not friends to us. I knew that they never treated us as equals. We have different language, we have different culture. They may tell you a lot of reasons why they invaded, because they want to confuse you. They don't want you to see the real reason, which is very simple. They want our lands.
Now, getting to sit down and actually speak with people from Ukraine, what was that experience like for you, getting to hear it firsthand from them?
Well, since I've been there 25 times over the last 15 years, they're like family now to me. And I really, really want to do everything I can to help them keep their freedom, their democracy. I mean, my friend took me through Bucha and Irpin, the place where the Russians first went. and just killed everybody willy-nilly. They'd go out and break into liquor stores and then get drunk, and then they'd go shoot up houses and rape, and it was just astonishingly bad. They killed 450 people just like that. And they were told when they invaded that the Ukrainians were kind of like imbeciles and not worthy of living. They didn't have anything, they were poor. And when they got there, they found out that the Ukrainians were kind of like us, and they had microwaves and toilet and, you know, everything. And they would go into a house, and just friends of mine, they ripped out microwaves and washing machines and sent them all back to Russia because they were so shocked that the Ukrainians were real people, you know, because that's not what the propaganda had told them.
Well, you know, you certainly bring a new perspective to this, and of course, it's a passion project for you. Best of luck with the documentary's release.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you for coming on, and welcome back, as we say.
Thank you. It's great to be back here. It really is. It's just fun to be home.
You bet.
know?
You
It's
bet.
cool.
Well, welcome home.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Prime Time after this.